Good day to you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Supreme Commander FAF cast, in which we will take a look at what had transpired on this beautiful, random generated map. Which actually is not that bad. It might not be the prettiest map ever, but I'm sure the gameplay is actually gonna be interesting on it, even if it's just a calc of open water with a crater in the middle. That's a little bit bigger and impossible compared to the original one, but hey, it's not a bad map if we actually look at it. The amount of mass on it might be a little bit suffocating, but with all of these mass extractor points, I'm sure the game is gonna accelerate quite rapidly, and as such, we're gonna go and see some wild fights happen. When we look at the reclaim ammo, there is basically nothing at all, just a few rocks here and here that are more like specks of dust on this little desert if we look at them. Because on the wall map there is only 1200 mass and 75, so yeah, not a lot if barely anything. But well, let's go and take a look for our players, because while these teams are not as high rated as we would like to, they're still good guys, and as such I really do hope that they're gonna have fun. After all, you're not here to be some kind of pro player, but you're here to just go and have some fun playing Subcom, right? So anyway, for the top team on the most right corner, we're gonna have Mr. Green Submarine playing Aeon in metallic grey. Up next, on the air slot, we're gonna have Mr. Nolvendur playing Seraphim in dark blue. Next up, we're gonna have Mr. Manfat playing QEF in grassy green. For the next player, it's gonna be Mr. Emperor Penguin playing QEF in carbon fiber grey. And last but not least, playing Cybran in manly pink color is Mr. Loxpoig. Loxpoig? Loxpage? I have no clue how to name this guy, so sorry if I butchered your name, but well, it's not my fault, you pick it yourself. Anyway, up on the other side of the map, playing in lime green Cybran ACU, we have Mr. Kwietstorm. Then, on the air slot for the bottom team, we're gonna have Mr. Zayo, or Xayo, playing Lavender Violet UEF. Next, in the middle of the map, already moving to the left flank, is Mr. Megamion, playing QEF in classical navy blue. Up next, we're gonna have Mr. Yoich, and yet here is his ACU, playing QEF in washed orange. And last but not least, on the right flank is Mr. Electric Foot, playing Aeon in alloy orange. So, that's it for our players. The teams are quite balanced, with the overall balance being at 90. Okay, never mind, there is actually an airfight happening, as we can see that the transport actually managed to go and drop the 4 engineers, and as such the middle of the map is most likely gonna belong to the top team, as Mr. Emperor Penguin is making really good job of taking control over this. But watch out, there is a T1 Scorcher coming out from the bottom team. He's dropping the bomb, but unfortunately he's not gonna go and catch even a single of the engineers, as Mr. Emperor is making a great spread. But never mind, here comes a drop. Drop coming up to Mr. Megamon with not only 3 engineers but also some T1 Megmarines, making sure that the opponent, I mean Mr. Penguin, cannot use his engineers to actually go and secure the middle of the map. But there is so many bombers flying all over here, like each of the team is just saying, no, I'm not gonna let you go and take control over the middle of the map, because this is just so important, because the moment you actually manage to go and secure it, you can see that it's not gonna be easy to actually take control over it back. Because if you anti-air placements are gonna be more than enough to make sure that no transport is gonna go and actually get through it. So yeah, so far it actually belongs to the bottom team, as Mr. Manfred did a really good job, and it seems like it's really gonna go and belong to the bottom team, as we have Mr. Xayo dropping one more engineer package with 41 engines here to secure the middle. As such, the middle of the map and 8, I repeat, 8 mass extractor points are gonna belong to the bottom team, giving a really big advantage to their economy power. Now, when we actually go and zoom out, we can see that both teams are getting ready for the upcoming ACU fights. We can see that, yep, 2 ACUs from both teams are actually going for the gun upgrades. Mr. Submarine was the first one to actually go and get it done, but Mr. Electric Foot is actually not so much behind. Not to say he have 2 engineers actually supporting his ACU. And there is actually Yogic also moving on to get his gun upgrades. And as such, I think we're gonna go and see a really big exchange between the ACUs here on the right flank. But holy hell, come on guys, just go and slow down with all the air fights in the middle. Because as we can see, both teams are still quarreling about who's gonna go and take control over this position of the map. Although it seems that like the top team is actually in control, at least for now, when it comes to the number of interceptors. And there is also even a small incursion by Emperor Penguin happening on the left side. Though I think that we should be, for now, looking into the right part of the map, because Mr. Green Submarine is pushing in hard with his ACU. Double gun come from Aeon, always and always a really annoying thing to deal with. We can already see the ACUs exchanging fire, a few Auroras coming in to support. But that's not a good idea, because you're gonna go and lose all of your Auroras to the double gun ACU. It's a not good trade, Mr. Electric Foot, so I would just go and focus on using your ACU alone to stop the enemy ACU and move your tanks somewhere along the edges of the map to go and try to sneak them by, because otherwise your Aurora are really useless against the Guncoms. This is probably one of the worst tanks to go and face the Guncoms, so yeah, don't do it. It's only a waste of mass. Anyway, here comes the bomber from... oh yeah, never mind. There goes the bomber, bye bye. Also, it seems like there is some T1 PDM placement placed by Mr. Teammate. But unfortunately, considering that there are 2 Guncoms coming in here, the T1 PDs are gonna be useless. After all, they're outrenched quite hard by the gun ACUs. Although we can see that in the back there is one more ACU coming in here to support the right flank, which is a really important thing to do, because a single ACU, even if it's a double Guncom from Aeon, is still not gonna be capable of breaching through. I mean, not breaching, defending his own base from 2 enemy Guncoms. Even more when these Guncoms have some air support and even T1 units coming in here to help. But let's take a look at what is happening on the left side, because it seems like, yep, it's the exact same story as on the right side, with the only difference that there is a T2 suit on the ACU belonging to Megamion, and as such he's gonna go and try to secure the left flank with some T2 PDs. Which honestly is a really great choice if you already have one of the Guncoms online from your teammate on the side. After all, if you body block for the T2 PDs, they're actually quite powerful things to have. Just make sure you body block the shots coming out from the enemy Guncoms. But anyway, when we look at the minimap, it seems like the action is still happening on the right side, as both teams will not want to concede all of this juicy mass here. If you actually look at the top left corner, we can see that there is 2600 mass on this screen right now, and as such it's gonna be really important to take control over it. So I can see both teams not wanting to go and concede it, but unfortunately I'm afraid that the top team will have to simply go and fall back, as they have not only not enough units, they are behind in the tempo when it comes to getting the Guncoms. Even more when we look, both of the ACUs for the bottom team have veterancy upgrades. But let's look what is happening on the left side, because holy hell! The bottom team is pushing in hard. They do not care. They simply do not care. Both of the ACUs pushing in harder and harder. We can see some mantis moving around the little hill in there, making sure that they won't lose all of the T1 units, and as such, okay, never mind, this is a bad move from Mr. Megamion. We can see that he's not body blocking for his T2 PD, which is a really bad thing to do. If you place a T2 PD, you want to body block the gunshots from enemy gun comms. Okay, why are you building T1 AA placements here when you have some MAA in the mix? But never mind, we can see that there is another big reclaim field here to fight over, so top team really have to go and give it their all, because the moment they lose all of this reclaim, it's gonna be really hard to come back, so even more so as the right flank is also having to fall back. Not to mention losing the control over the middle of the map and the very beginning of the game, so yep. So far, when we look at this, the bottom team is really ahead. They're really far ahead when it comes to their map control. And when we look at the economy, we have 240 mass per second for the bottom team, and top team only slowly trailing behind with 220 mass for the whole team. So yeah, they're actually quite behind, but who knows, maybe there is something happening with on the air slots. With Mr. Novenur already 70% done on the T3 Air HQ upgrade. And when we look at the other side of the map, we have Mr. Zayo only starting out his T3 HQ upgrade, so this might actually be quite an air crash if Mr. Nolverderk is able to actually use it correctly. And use it he will, because it doesn't seem like the land forces are in a good condition. It actually looks quite awful, because all of the fronts are basically pushed back, and it's looking even worse and worse with each and every passing second. Also, I really like the parachutes coming up from Mr. Yoich for his gun com. Gonna make sure that his units can stay alive just a little bit longer, although getting them in the range of the enemy gun-com is not the way you wanna go and do it, especially when they're out of the shield. But Mr. Manfred is actually pushing a little bit too brave, losing a little bit too much HP if you ask me, especially when there are two. Okay, never mind, here comes the little air snipe with two gunships, actually no, make it 3 Spectre gunships coming out from Mr. Yoji, and Mr. Manfred dropping lower and lower. This is looking pretty bad for him. The interceptors coming out from the top team, but I'm not sure if they're gonna be enough to actually... No, they're gonna be enough to actually go and shut down all of the Spectres, but all of the AA that you can see in here is basically massacring the interceptors belonging to the top team. So yeah, not a good look for them. But thankfully, the AC belonging to Manfred is gonna go and escape on just 3k HP. And as such, he can live for a little while longer. We can also see TMD placement by Mr. Zayo going to TML the juicy T2 maxes belonging to the top team. We can already see the TMD being built. Oh! It seems like the T2 pigeons are gonna stay alive for a little while longer. Oh god. You kind of... Oh. Mr. Penguin, that's not how you kill a fucking TML. If you wanna kill it, aim at the TML instead of aiming at the T1 pigeon behind it. Although looking at the chart, I think it was just a problem with the elevation, where the bombers basically flew over this little cliff here and had no time to lower their the altitude and basically overshoot the target by a mile. But never mind, it seems like the left flank is still fighting over these little mass fields. But I'm still not sure if they're actually capable of holding it for a little bit longer, because these T2PDs are gonna be a real pain in the arse to go and break them. And Emperor Penguin is in real pickle in here. As we can see, more and more Mantis coming in here. There is also a Guncom shooting at him. He's dropping now to 5k HP, only 5k HP left, and there's still a shit ton of units aiming at him. 3k HP, 2500, 2k, 1500. He's dropping lower and lower. The Guncom is still going after him, but I'm not sure if Kvetorm is actually capable of shooting 400 HP. And no, Kvetorm is actually no longer in range, as we can see him trying to go and move his ACU back, because Mr. Luxpoich is actually coming to rescue Mr. Emperor Penguin. So yeah, go and say thank you to your little teammate, because otherwise you were a dead meat. So a really nice place for Mr. Luxpick, throwing away all of his units just to go and save his little friend on the left flank, but it seems like the big army is actually converging on the right part of the flank, with Mr. Ryojich and Electric Foot coming closer and closer to the main base of Mr. Green Submarine. Also, we have the first ASF out on the field, this time for the top team, as it seems like the bottom team is actually quite behind, with only one ASF up against 6, 7, 8s. Yep, 8 ASF, and also it looks like Mr. Nolvendur is trying to go and make some Notals, the T2 fighter bombers. As such, the bottom team will actually have to go and start making more and more anti-air emplacements, because otherwise sneaky air snipes might be happening, especially on the right flank, because when we look at the anti-air units, there is not many of them. Just a few T1 units, which is not gonna be enough to stop a proper air snipe on the T2. We can also see Mr. Yoji using Sparkies to go and try to secure some forward firebase right in the front door of the enemy team. Although the enemy team, the top team, is actually unhappy about this. We can see them actually pushing in hard to go and make sure that this firebase will have no foothold in here. But here comes the Notas. Bombs dropped, but it seems all of them are gonna miss, all of them missed. And Notas are no more, as a few skyboxers are gonna be enough to go and chew for them. Oh no, it seems like Mr. Luxpoich actually have been defeated on the left flank. How could I miss it? And apparently no one knows how he didn't even die, as players on both teams are actually unaware of what happened. I don't know. Might have been the overcharge bug yet again, but who knows? Because let's go back to the right flank, because as we can see, the top team is still pushing in hard with the both guncoms, giving no fucks given. Even more so as the ACU belonging to Manfred is sporting not only gun upgrade, but also nano upgrade, plus 4 VEDs, giving it a really high HP regeneration per second. 74 HP per second. That's a lot. That's a really lot. As such, he can go and basically play around on the front line all the time he wants, because this is a beast of an ACU. Although Yoji have exact same ACU upgrades, and as such, I don't think they're gonna be capable of gaining much land control in here. But we will see what will happen. For now, let's go back to the left flank, where Mr. Megamon is still playing around with his ACU, facing off against Emperor Penguin. and his little UEF forces, together with some Cybran that he received from his dead teammate. But let's look at the ASF numbers. Top team 14 ASF, bottom team 12, so the air advantage for the top team is actually not as high as it was before. And when we look at the actual mass income, this doesn't look good. I mean, this doesn't look right. I guess it's reclaim. And never mind, here comes the really big push against the ACU belonging to Manfred, dropping lower and lower, just on 8k HP up against all these T3 and T2 units and then against the enemy Guncom, and as such, this is a really bad position for him to be in. Even more so as there is one more Guncom in the background coming closer and closer. And if Mr. Yogic actually wills for it, they might actually simply go and trade the comms just fine, because 2k HP, 3k HP is nothing too truthful. Actually, never mind, it's Mr. Yogic who's actually now in really big trouble. His ASU is only on 3k HP. Make it 2k, 2.5, 2500 HP, and it's dropping lower and lower. The obsidians are really proving to be way too much. The parashield is coming in here to go and try to go and shield it, but I'm not sure if it's actually gonna be enough, as the Guncom belonging to Mr. Green Saban is gonna go and deal out the pain, as 500 HP left, 400, 300, 200, and kaboom, baby! We have the second ejection of the game as Mr. Yogic dies, after feeling a little bit too confident in making a push on the right flank of the map. But now, there is more and more units coming in here. Are the teammates of the Mr. Yogic gonna avenge him or not? Because when we... Oh, and there he goes! Green Submarine is also out of the game. Kaboom, baby! Kaboom! 3 players out, as we have a big T3 unit incursion happening on the left flank. As we can see, Mr. Manfred making a really big push with some Titan in here. But broadswords belonging to the opposing team are actually gonna go and deal with them quite swiftly, even more so as there is not enough air cover in here. So yep, after killing just 1 T2 max and 1 T1 max, the Titans are gonna be nothing more but a masturbation. As you can see them falling one by one. As such, I'm not sure if this was a really good push in here. So, Mr. Manfred, you should actually work out on your planning a little bit more. But the right flank is still not stopping. The action is coming at all the times and all the high. Because as we can see, there is T3 units on the field also on the right flank. But this time for Mr. Electric Foot. And oh no, not such a bad air fight, as we can see Mr. Electric Foot losing all of his ASF without even trying to fight back. As such, a convincing air fight victory for the top team. But it seems like they're actually gonna go and pay for it with another raid-by of 2 little not loyalists by Titans, making a raid-by just near the map border, killing off all the build power here. They're not gonna go and kill the T2 mass extractor, or actually no, they're gonna go and kill it because the move order was cancelled and instead there was an attack order on the T2 mass extractors, which is really good idea. They're gonna go and get one of them and most likely still gonna go and manage to get one more. And if they actually keep moving, there is a big chance of them getting rid of even maybe one more, considering that this one in here is really low. He's under fire from the T2 gunship, but is he gonna make it or not? And no, the T1 mass storage was just enough to go and block it. But on the left line we have Megaman being actually pushed back really hard. There is T3 gunships going after his ACU, as we can see. A big T3 force together with an ACU coming up from Mr. Emperor. And this is actually real bad Megamon dropping without 2k HP, 1500, 1k HP left. And is he gonna stay alive or not? The bricks are in range to shoot at him. 300, 200 HP, 100, and kaboom! Mr. Megamon is the fourth victim of the game, as Mr. Emperor takes revenge for killing his teammates just a few minutes ago. And it seems like he's not gonna stop, as he still have 4 bricks and a gun ACU on the front line, even some rhinos and parashields in here. The T2 radar goes down, T2 Max is also dying one by one, and it seems like Fiedstorm doesn't really have too many units or forces to actually go and defend his base, or more like the forward base, because this is not the main one. And honestly, I think that he should go and start running away. Even more so as air support is not coming to save him. Because just look at all of the skyboxers. The T1 interceptors dying one by one. And here comes the broadswords. Is this gonna be another snipe attempt on the left flank? Is Mr. Kwietstorm gonna stay alive or not? Here comes the ASF, the flags opens the fire. The ACU dropping lower and lower, 7k HP, but the ASF actually should be capable of dealing with the little broadswords. My Emperor Penguin is saying no. Fuck no. Even if my little snipe attempts is not gonna happen with the air units, I still have my ACU and land units. As such, I'm gonna push harder and harder. And you, little Cyber ACU, you little coward, you're not gonna go away. Kaboom, baby! As Kwietstorm goes up in flames, as Mr. Emperor makes another great push on the left flank. A really great game coming up from Mr. Emperor. And to even think that this guy nearly died at 10 minutes into the game, but now he's just dealing out pain. He's telling the enemy team, you had to kill me, you didn't do it, and now I'm here for my revenge. And oh, sweet revenge it is. On the right flank, we have Mr. Manfred dying to some random Percivals. His AC is just on 1k HP. One more hit from Percival and he's actually gonna be dead, but is he gonna run away? Is he actually gonna run away on this 1k HP? Does enemy team have no radar coverage? No, actually, he's not in range of it. Oh no, please don't. Okay, overcharge happened. No. Your greed is gonna kill you one day, Mr. Manfred. Your greed is gonna kill you one day. 70 HP on the ACU. Literally 70 HP, just one more hit from the little Harbinger belonging to Mr. Electric Foot, and it would be a GG. All of you are playing out with fire here, guys. All of you playing out with fire. But I guess this is what makes the game fun, right? Who gives a shit about playing some macro game when you can actually suit up yourself like a fucking Rambo? Like a Sylvester Stallone, and just go and blast your enemies with fucking machine gun. So fucking screw the macro, it's all about bumping chests in close range quarters. And these guys really do know how to go and play it out. But on the left flank, we're actually gonna go and see Mr. Electric Foot pushing with a single Galactic Colossi. Though, I'm not so sure about pushing it alone. Let's take a look at the ASF numbers. Okay, just an ASF for the top team. Meanwhile, bottom team have 35 of them. There is also one more experimental unit for the bottom team. This time it's gonna be a spider bot. But I'm really not sure about pushing with a Galactic Colossi alone. After all, it have no AA, no nothing, and actually never mind, because it seems like Emperor Penguin also have its own ASF. While the, yep, 20, that's gonna be 15, 35 ASF for the top team. Xayo had 35, and Electric Foot have 10, so only 10 ASF advantage for the bottom team, meaning that they are not sure to actually win the air fight happening over the enemy airbase. And as such, pushing in with a single Galactic Colossus is not the best idea, because I'm afraid it may actually turn into nothing more but a machination. Sure, it's a big, scary T4 experimental unit, that can eat even bricks for breakfast with its magnetic claws, as we can see. But I'm just not sure about pushing in, because as we can already see, some air units coming in here to actually go and shoot down the Galactic Colossus, and considering there is no AA to cover for him, there is nothing we can actually do to stop the gunships from killing them. We can already see it falling down below to 60 kHP. No, it is shooting all the fucking time, but this was a really bad move. You just donated a lot of mass for no reason at all to your opponents. The ASF coming in here is gonna be an air fight or not? Actually no, the ASF belong to Mr. Emperor, so sorry, my bad. Not having icons can sometimes be horrible for knowing which unit belongs to who. But yeah, this was a really bad GC. We can see it getting massacred, really massacred by the gunships. And actually there was an air fight happening that apparently was, I think, won by the bottom team, as the Emperor was more focused on dealing with the Galactic Colossus rather than with the air fight. But I'm still not sure if the air Wincon can do anything, because we are on 10 by 10 map and the mass extractors are actually quite clumped in these bases, so just getting a few subs here and there is gonna be enough to go and stop all of the experimental air units that can the bottom team throw at the top. So we will see how will it go. But looking at the mass income, it looks actually quite bad for the the top team, because bottom team is actually 250 mass per second ahead, and that is a massive difference. So they can just go and build some T3 artillery or maybe some kind of nuke and just, oh no, another air unit without air support coming out from the bottom team. And we can see UEF T1 Scorchers dropping more and more napalm. Barn, monkey barn. A beautiful sight. As we can see it burning in flames, even more as gunships came here. Like, one day guys, one day you're gonna go and learn that T4 experimental units are not some kind of invincible stuff. Even more so when they're actually incapable of defending themselves from air units. So, I mean, FAF even added T3 MAA for your convenience, so just please go and use it, and if not, just get some flak for fuck's sake. Because so far we can see that bottom team is losing more and more ground forces to basically random gunships flying everywhere. An air fight brewing in, as we can see ASF from both teams posturing around the gunships. Mr. Luxpeed is gonna Electric Foot is gonna go and make the first move, but in doing so he's gonna go and lose all of his ASF. Even more so as we can see that the top team is actually taking notes and building T3 MAA. Okay, this one actually have already 2k mass killed. This is a striker. Another MAA, 2k mass killed, so Come on, guys, build your T3 MAA. It's been added for a reason, and no, that reason wasn't a piece of FTX, it was because these units are actually quite useful. Elon Percy on the left flank is gonna... he's gonna get burned to death. Poor little guy. That was a lot of napalm coming out. That T1 bombers might actually pay for it with their life, but well... it was worth it just to see all of the napalm. And one more Galactic Colossi coming out from Electric Foot, and let's take a look at his unit mix. A single Redeemer is not gonna stop all of the gunships that your opponent have, so no, please get more of them. And T1 units, at this stage of the game, they do not really count. They really do not count. So no, get some flag, get some T3 MAA, and only then think about pushing in. So, I saw a nuke being built by Mr. Nolvendur, I think, a little bit. Yep, and it's done, and already... well, 2/5 done. And let's see if his opponent actually have some kind of... not TMD, but rather SMD. SMD, where you are, where you are. I see not a single SMD in here. I might be getting blind with age, but come on. I think I'm quite sure I see no SMD. And let's see if Mr. Electric Foot even have SMD. Not like this, like that. And no, he have his own nuke launcher. Actually no, never mind. He have his own SMD, and the SMD is actually gonna be finished just in time to protect him from the enemy nuke. But it seems like the Galactic Colossi is actually still pushing in, even though... yep, even though there is no air cover or anything in here. The airfight is actually gonna go and happen. Up in the sky, as we can see, Mr. Xayo actually going and to try to go after all of the gunships, but no, this is actually not gonna work out. Not only the gunships are making for a nice mid shields for the enemy ISF, there is also way more ASF coming out for the top team. Oh god, that was a really bad airfight that we have taken. Even more so as now we can see even T3 Strat on the field, and no, this Galactic Colossus push was a really bad idea. Even T1 Scorcher is trying to burn away. Oh, wait, what? Wait! Why was your... isn't your ACU here? No, it is... oh, no, never mind. Never mind. Manfred was actually playing for the top team. Oh god, for a second I thought that Manfred was in the bottom team, but no. It was Megamon who was playing for the bottom team. Manfred was for the top team, but okay. A big T3 push coming out on the left flank, as we can see Mr. Xayo having enough. But I don't see any... this is not enough. Just 4 Panzers is not enough to go and protect your units. Like, Panzers are really great at getting rid of the Strat bombers, but you're not gonna put a dent in this big-ass gunship force. Not to mention all of the T1 Scorchers coming in here too. Yep, you already lost of your AA force, so yep. All that's left is basically a clean mock-up for the enemy team. As your beautiful mix of Percival's and Bricks is gonna be nothing more but a mass nation. Oh god. Not only you have no air control, but you also don't build any anti-air units. And how the hell are you expecting to win this game? Come on, team. Like, you were ahead for all of the game. For the whole game you were ahead. You had the control over 70% of the map. You had basically 1.3 times more mass income all the time than the top team, but no, we just had to go and all throw it away. All because we were incapable of building air units, and now we just took a really horrible air fight, as Mr. Nolvenur just basically incapacitated all of your air force. Meaning that you can't even compete on this front anymore. And as such, this is gonna be actually really hard and painful way to go and try to win this game. But let's go and look. Oh god, that is a lot of... That is a lot of hives coming out here. Trying to go and build the megaliths. Which is understandable, and here comes the nuke launch. I wonder where is it gonna go? Who is it actually gonna hit? Even more so because Mr. Electric Food is actually defended by a single SMD, so let's see where this nuke is actually gonna head. Is it gonna go for the base? No, it's not gonna go for the base belonging to Xayah, but instead it's gonna go and deal with all of this T3 and T2 mass extractors in the middle of the map. Kaboom, baby! Yep, a great nuke. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 T2 mass extractors. Actually, maybe not so great, but considering that it will take time to rebuild all of this, I think it's still gonna go and pay off. Even more so as he wasn't sure if he can go and nuke the base belonging to Xayah or not. But well, here comes the Ahwasa, bomb dropped, and it's gonna be a beautiful one. Kaboom! There goes the T3 army belonging to Mr. Electric Food. Oh god, do I see another Mass Nation? Is this GC also gonna go and turn into Mass Nation or not? Oh well, I guess we will see in around 1 or 2 minutes. But yeah, the Ahwasi belonging to Nolvenur is actually doing God's work, dealing more and more damage on the outskirts of the map, killing all of the T3 units without air support, and even getting rid of a few T2 Maxes belonging to Mr. Electric Food, so a really good use of it. But I wonder if this little army here on the left is actually gonna amount to anything or not, because this is like 2 megaliths, bunch of bricks and Percivals, and actually I can see that there is more and more bouncers being mixed into the unit mix, not... Is it even enough? Okay, 35 bricks and only 11 bouncers, this is not enough. Okay, the chicken god is actually gonna be thrown away. I was wondering if the Galactic Colossus is gonna be a Mass Nation, but it seems like this time it's a top team going, nope. This time I'm gonna make you a present of a Mass Nation. As we can see the Etota slowly falling over and exploding. Kaboom. Okay. On the left flank we have some ASF flying over some MAA, not too much. The Ahwas are trying to go and bomb the units in the middle. And beautiful bomb, although all it's gonna do is just kill off a few. And here comes the airfight. The Ahwas is actually gonna be shot down, but this is actually very bad because now that there is no way to make a good turn, and as such the ASF belonging to Mr. Xayah are actually gonna go and get shot down one by one. And even if he managed to go and get a great turn, this would be still a bad fight to take because you had way less ASF than your opponents. And you're throwing away even more of them. Mwah. Not good, not good. The top team is actually firmly in air control right now because there is no ASF left for the south team. And as such, they're free to abuse the air control however they want now. Not to mention, killing this Ahwasa on this bombing ground was actually a horrible idea because it landed exactly near the base belonging to the Emperor Penguin, meaning that you gained nothing. All you did was lose all of your ASF, and I still see no T2 flag in your unit mix. No T2 flag. Really, against all of these gunships. I mean, I guess you have some bouncers here in the mix, but they have no splash or anything. I mean, never mind, they have some small splash, like of one unit, but this is not gonna be enough to deal proper damage against all of the gunships and T1 bombers belonging to the Emperor Penguin. You can already see the air units moving slowly to the other flank, making sure that the enemy won't be able to push in. And here comes the Air Force One. Here comes the Air Force One, and someone please play Valkyrie. March of Valkyries, please, everyone. Come on, Johnny, play the Valkyrie. Because here comes the gunship. They're gonna go and focus on killing off the T3 MAA belonging to Mr. Xayo first, as we can see them focusing on the air units first. Instead of all going for the megaliths, we have Strat bombers dropping their payload by flying over. And there is no more AA available. Like I said, unit friggin' MAA, guy. Not just one or two units, but a shitload of them. Oh god, my camera work is fucking horrible, but we can see both crab bots falling down over as megaliths were nothing more but a mass donation. The T3 bigs are also not gonna be useful at all. They might have managed to go and finish off the Monkey Lord, but considering where this fight took place, I'm sorry to say, but all of this mass is gonna go and belong to the top team. Honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if the top team could actually not just go and move all of the air units straight to the enemy base without giving a fuck and just kill off all of the enemy ACUs. Because honestly, let's go and look. Do you have some MAA or not? Let's see. Only 16 sums. Not like this. Why can't I? Yep, 16 sums in these positions are actually not as great of an idea. You should actually space them out a little bit better. And it seems like the March of the Valkyries is still playing in someone's speakers, because here comes the gunships. They do not care. The gunships are coming. The airfight is actually happening over the airbase belonging to Mr. Electric Foot, but nobody gives a fuck about all of the sum. The ASF are intermingling, but here comes the Air Force One with a big dose of nasty gunships and a few Strat bombers. They're gonna go straight for the enemy ACU. Just look at this firepower! He just got killed in a matter of seconds. And now there is only the last guy left standing, Mr. Xayo. Have you said your prayers? Are you ready to meet your maker or not? Because the Valkyries is blasting. The gunship, the broadswords are here. And they are saying, you are no more. Run as you might. Your little shields are of no consequence. As they are gonna go and drop one by one. Goodbye and GG, well played. What a comeback, guys. What a comeback. GG and well played. Honestly. Hands down, I didn't friggin' expect this actually to end up like this. A round of applause for Mr. Nolvendur and Mr. Emperor Penguin, because they managed to go and tough it out and win back the game. GG, well played.